Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. Let's get started. Tonight, Spokane police are continuing to investigate after they found a mom dead in her apartment only hours after she was supposed to pick up her 2 children from daycare. Now her ex-boyfriend's been arrested. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is looking into the case tonight.
The court documents are chilling. We've learned that an officer talked to this mom of 2 about getting a no-contact order against the suspect the day before she was murdered. That same officer discovered her body. Just before 7 p.m. Wednesday, Spokane police received a call from a local daycare. An employee said the mom of a 3- and 7-year-old child was hours late picking them up and they couldn't get a hold of her. Police went to her apartment on West Sinto and she didn't answer the door. An officer eventually got a key for the apartment, only to find her body face down on the floor. The same officer had contact with the victim the day before. A neighbor called 911 hearing an argument between the woman and her ex-boyfriend, 45-year-old Gene Kirkpatrick. The woman told police she'd recently broken up with Kirkpatrick. They had an argument and he stole a bottle of rum. She didn't want to press charges at the time, but the officer advised her to get a no-contact order. The following evening, as police investigated the murder, officers looked at security cameras from inside the building. According to court documents, Kirkpatrick, who lived a floor below the victim, is seen arguing at her door and then forcing his way in. 40 minutes later, he leaves the apartment and goes into his own. Kirkpatrick was later arrested at a convenience store off the Sunset Highway. He was brought in for questioning, and detectives noted he was drunk and reeked of alcohol. He denied killing his ex. According to police, Kirkpatrick is an 11-time convicted felon and within the past month was convicted of violating a no-contact order against a different woman and interfering with a domestic violence report. Kirkpatrick's charged with second-degree murder. A judge set his bond at $1 million. In Spokane, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Also developing tonight, 4 people now behind bars after getting arrested for a deadly shooting in the East Central neighborhood. The Wednesday night shooting claimed the life of a 17-year-old boy. 2 other people were also hurt. The group charged includes 18-year-old Hagen Charbonneau, 21-year-old Gavin McGregor, and 20-year-old Sapphire Jesperson, as well as a 16-year-old boy who's not being identified. All 4 face several charges, including first-degree murder. Court documents state the suspects didn't know the victims but met up with them to sell cannabis oil. That's when shots were fired, reportedly by the 16-year-old. New tonight, a judge rejected a legal effort by families of the victims of 2 deadly crashes involving the Boeing 737 MAX. Boeing won immunity from criminal prosecution over the crashes as part of a Justice Department agreement in which Boeing pleaded guilty to a conspiracy charge. Families wanted the deal tossed out, claiming they were left out of the legal process. They testified last month in a federal courtroom in Texas. Today, the judge said he doesn't have legal authority to grant their request to undo the DOJ agreement. The family's attorney says they plan to appeal.
It was much smaller than the spy balloon that we took down last Saturday, roughly the size of a small car.
The description of yet another object shot down today, this time over Alaska. The debris landed on a frozen body of water. Right now, the Pentagon's working to recover the object. Officials want to determine what the object was doing and if China or any other country had anything to do with it. In Tennessee tonight, a new case reviews underway involving the 5 former Memphis police officers charged in the beating death of Tyree Nichols. This after another man came forward accusing those same officers of a similar attack just 3 days before Nichols was beaten. That man has now filed a $5 million lawsuit against the officers and the city of Memphis. The charged officers are due in court for the first time next week. An update tonight on the murder case of 4 University of Idaho students. The suspect's attorney filed an objection to a motion to change the judge's non-dissemination order, otherwise known as a gag order. This comes after the attorney for one of the victims' family is arguing he should be exempt from the order.
My name's Shannon Gray. I'm the attorney for the Gonzalez family. We're not going to be taking any questions at all. It's obviously an emotional time for the family seeing the defendant for the first time.
This is one of the last times we heard from the Gonzalez's family attorney before the judge included him in the gag order. Gray argues he should be allowed to serve as their spokesperson. However, the suspect's defense attorney and the Latah County prosecutor say any sharing of that information could endanger a jury's impartiality in the case. Now, we also want to remind you, we, along with 21 other media organizations, are also pushing for more transparency in the U of I murder case. In the meantime, you can find more information on the case, plus an investigation into the suspect's background on KREM 2+. You can download it right now on Amazon Fire and Roku. Well, let's shift gears right now and take a look at our forecast. A great week of weather here in the inland Northwest, and now we're just all wondering if it will carry on through the weekend. Let's go over straight now to meteorologist Michelle Boss for a look at the forecast tonight. And how are things shaping up, Michelle?
Yeah, we had some nice weather today. A little bit of sunshine, highs in the 40s. It gets to be the middle of February, and a lot of people already start getting spring fever. And you might get a little bit more of that this weekend as we see temperatures climbing into the 40s again. Satellite and radar showing a few clouds moving through, but we're not expecting any wet weather or snowy weather for the weekend. In fact, looking to stay dry for both Saturday and Sunday. But with those clear skies at night and light winds, temperatures are expected to be a little bit chilly during those overnight and early morning hours. We're currently below freezing right now in Spokane, 31 degrees, 30 in Coeur d'Alene, already dipped down to the 20s in Deer Park, and low to mid 30s elsewhere across the region. Short-term forecast looks like this. We'll have mostly clear skies overnight, so we'll start the day with a fair amount of sunshine, but again, pretty chilly in the upper 20s. But with some partly cloudy skies, we should be up around 40 on Saturday, increasing clouds on Sunday, but we're still looking at highs in the lower 40s.
A heads up if you're planning to drive I-90 tomorrow. The interstate will be fully closed tomorrow for the removal of the Magnolia Street pedestrian bridge. Take a look at your screen right now. This is where I-90 will be closed from the Division Street interchange to the Freya-Thor interchange. Lane closures will start at 8 p.m. and fully close on ramps between Division to Freya starting at 10 p.m.
The traveling public, that's our #1 priority, and their safety is of utmost importance. So we will never close a bridge if there is no safety concern, but with this bridge, there was an immediate risk to safety, and so we made the decision to ultimately close it down.
WashDOT says people leaving the Gonzaga game tomorrow night should follow traffic control. Detours will run from 3rd Street to Altamont. Let's go right now to Nightbeat with a quick look at the day's top stories. The Washington State Attorney General paid a visit to Spokane today to talk about the state's increase in retail crime. Greater Spokane Inc. hosted the event where Attorney General Bob Ferguson spoke. The Washington Retail Association says Washington State loses $2.7 billion to retail theft every year.
We're really bearing the costs of this theft. 25% of small businesses report that they've had to raise prices as a result of retail theft.
So the idea here is that when it comes to organized retail crime, as we've talked about, right, this is a statewide issue that knows no geographical boundaries or boundaries of a county or a city, right? It sort of calls for having a team that has a statewide perspective.
Ferguson says law enforcement across the state need to communicate more, and online marketplaces need to help lower the amount of resale happening online. Eastern Washington fraternity Phi Delta Theta is being punished for a hazing incident this past fall. According to the university, the fraternity violated the school's student code of conduct with bullying violations, along with alcohol and substance violations. The university's withdrawn the recognition of the fraternity until the spring quarter. And the city of Coeur d'Alene cleared several trees yesterday for improved access and parking to the Prairie Trail near the Kroc Center. According to our partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, a new parking lot will be put in by the trailhead this summer. Constructed in 2008, the trail currently runs 4 miles across town, ending at Hoyter Road. The city also plans to extend the trail another mile to Meyer Road. That was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, text the word NIGHT to 509-448-2000. We'll send them right to your phone.